Are you a growing family, maybe an extended family, looking for an affordable, larger vehicle, or a vehicle at least that houses with a 3-row that allows you to carry the extended family, allows you to carry the kids to school? I know when we grew up, of course, or our kids grew up, we certainly were looking for vehicles with 3 rows because we had a large family and we always needed something, and we knew the market was pretty tight. Hard to find vehicles like that these days. Well, they do exist, and they do exist in an affordable format. Now, not everybody wants a fire-breathing Ferrari, but some people want an affordable vehicle that just transports everybody safely to school and work. I'm going to give you that list right now. Let's take this from the top, shall we? The first one on my list, not necessarily the best or in this order, but I'm going to share it with you, is the Mitsubishi Outlander. Starts around $29,000 and change on the US market. Features a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder, makes about 184 horsepower. You do get 3 rows. It's wonderful that way. CVT transmission, it's a little whiny, but they're fairly reliable. And they actually are also going for about $36,000 in the Canadian marketplace. Wonderful vehicle. Comes with auto dimming lights, LED headlights and washers, front and rear braking, emergency braking, and blind spot monitoring systems. A lot of safety features. So it's a wonderful vehicle. And certainly there are some incentives. No problems, no questions asked. You need to get around in a very, very affordable way. The Outlander has you covered. Now there's another one here that I want to talk about. And the next one on my list is the Kia Sorento. Starts around $39,000 on the Canadian market. But in the US market, they start around $31,000, $32,000 in the LX format. Wonderful vehicle as well. You can get LX trim. You can get a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder making about 191 horsepower, 181 pound-feet of torque. You can actually upgrade that to a turbocharged 2.5 that gives you 281 horsepower. Very, very peppy there. And, you know, the usual gambit of 12.3-inch touchscreens, power driver seats, heated front seats. Those are all nice features. It's a lot of bang for buck. And honestly, the Kia Sorento, we often find them incentivized. And those are running for about $39,000 in the Canadian market. In the US market is starting around $31,900 in LX format. Wonderful vehicle. I was down at the dealership the other day. I looked at these. They're very intriguing, very interesting looking design. And I will say they've come a long way in a lot of their design language by Kia. Again, for anybody looking for a 3rd-row vehicle, this might meet the bill. Now, if you want to look at something that's maybe on the luxury side, these are a little bit more money, but the Mercedes GLB has an optional 3-row or 3-row SUV. They're very small, but I sat in there and I actually found, oddly enough, vehicles like the Volkswagen Tiguan, there's no room in the 3rd row. It's pretty much sad. It's for, I don't even know who you put back there. But the Mercedes GLB is also a very small subcompact SUV that actually fits in the 3rd row. A person that's about 5'8", 5'9", 5'10" can quite easily fit back in that 3rd row, upright, without brushing their head, and they've got enough adequate knee room. So if you're looking for a luxury vehicle, Mercedes GLB is one of your best bets at an affordable price point. But enough about that. We're not looking for luxury, we're looking for affordability. And the next one in line is one that I have to express because I've tried these and I absolutely love these vehicles. It's just about everything from the brand is Mazda is now building some absolute breakout vehicles. You really have to check out Mazda. Maybe it's not a 3rd row, maybe you're looking for something else, but trust me when I say the CX-5, the CX-50 are the best compact SUVs. The Mazda 3, also amazing. You can get naturally aspirated 2.5s, turbo 2.5s, as well as you can get a manual and a front-wheel drive setup. But it's not about that. The reason I'm saying Mazda is because they don't get seen and heard enough. The 3-row SUV you have to look at is the Mazda CX90. Starts around $45,000 Canadian, or about $37,845 in the US, or base turbo trim. Absolutely wonderful vehicles. The 3-row on these, I found them, I sat in them, they're beautiful. These vehicles are very long. They do feel a little narrow on the inside, but there's more than adequate room. You get a full-size vehicle, full-size room, and it's definitely at a price point most people would agree with. Full hybrids or plug-in hybrids are available with these vehicles. The CX70 gives you the non-3-row, but if you're looking for 3-row, the CX90 is the same vehicle, but with a 3rd row. Wonderful vehicles. Top trims, 340 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque. In the GS trims, lots of features. Blind spot monitoring, rain-sensing wipers, all kinds of trims and features with these vehicles. They're absolutely glorious. I love the looks of them. They look wonderful. And with that inline turbo 6, they're really trying to follow the recipe of BMW. I love the brand. Mazda these days are really not getting the fanfare that they should. In my own personal opinion, I think the reliability and the quality of those vehicles is really second to none in the business right now. The next one I want to mention is this one here is one that, for the traditionalists, you like the domestic products. Well, how about the Chevy Tahoe? Those start around $56,200 in the US market, or about $76,500 in the Canadian market. Four-wheel drive, 5 trims, you get the Yukon. Of course, you get the 17-inch infotainment screen. You get LS trim is a rear-wheel drive, but generally people ramp up. So base trim is 2-wheel drive, but you can step that up. You do get the LS at a 5.3 liter V8, makes about 355 horsepower. It's a very peppy engine. I know the 5.3 is a great engine that way. The cylinder deactivation, that's another conversation, but it's a wonderful vehicle that's actually fairly large. It's built on the pickup truck platform, and a lot of people love these. There's popular, there's 3 rows available, and you can really haul a lot of people. You can haul your boat to the cabin on the weekend, and they're very, very versatile. Now, maybe some of you are looking for something a little bit different, possibly more in the minivan space. Here's one for you. How about the Kia Carnival? Now, I'm not the biggest fan, but they are kind of quirky looking, and there's not a lot in the minivan space. We've got the Chrysler minivan. That's a Dodge product. It's not the most amazing in my own personal opinion. Honda's got the Odyssey. Toyota's got, of course, their version, which is the Sienna. They're both beautiful, but they're both somewhat costly. You can avoid those significant cost increases by going with a vehicle like the Kia Carnival. Gives you all of the versatility in 3 rows. If you like minivans because of the access, SUVs quite often, they're higher, they're 4-wheel drive, harder to get in and out, less versatile for the kidlings. But if you need something that's more versatile for young ones, the Kia Carnival is one of those that might be on your radar. You might want to check it out. They start around $36,800 and round up all the way to $53,000 in the US market. The LX trim starts at that base 36 and change. But on the Canadian market, they start around $40,000. Now, they're wonderful vehicles, very affordable, cheap. 3.5 liter V6 makes 288 horsepower. So what's kind of nice is it's more of a conventional drivetrain where everybody's going hybrids and all of this new technology. They're keeping it a little bit simpler, which for a lot of people is just the ultimate and way to go. But of course, as you know, they have a fairly comprehensive warranty. 5 years, 100,000 kilometers, and the powertrain for 5 years and 100,000 kilometers. So vehicles you might look at, Chrysler Pacifica, Honda Odyssey, Toyota Sienna, and the Grand Caravan, which I already mentioned. Most of those are either poorer quality or more expensive. So this one fits in the niche nicely. Another one, a third row, if you're thinking about maybe an EV, is the EV9. The EV9, also a very fascinating looking vehicle. Now, you may not be on board with electric vehicles, but if you need an electric vehicle that's 3-row, there's not that many on the market. Guess what? Kia's got you answered there at $59,995 on the Canadian market. You can also find them in the US market for a little bit of a different price tag that starts around 55 grand and swings all the way up to about 79,000 bucks. Of course, they're good for 6 passengers. And honestly, they're the competition would be like the EQS for Mercedes-Benz, the R1S Rivian, the Tesla Model X, and the Volvo EX90. Of course, there's some other options, but these ones do fall in a more of affordable price point for a 3-row SUV, right? 3-row electric vehicle SUV. There's not many of those to pick from, and they definitely meet the criteria. So I hope that helps you round up some of the most affordable 3-row vehicles on the market today. Definitely go test drive each and every one of them, and I think each one will say their own thing. It'll speak to you whether you want to buy one of those or not. But anyway, please do hit that subscribe button. Again, as always, here to try to help you with your car buying experience. Hope to see each and every one in the next one, everybody. See you then. Bye-bye.